So first, when you do that, you got to pick a size.
Much better on her legs. Right.
In my case, we're going to clear out this bar, and we're going to start with a large ship.
Are you okay? Yeah, it's just something about her.
I'm going to go out to the end of this platform here.
What, like you know her?
There we go.
I really don't know her.
Oops, I want that on the platform.
I know she is.
Okay. So now I have a large landing gear going the wrong direction. That's not what I want.
That's New York. High school dropout. Multiple arrests. Check kiting, petty larceny, bus for possession. The last one got her sent to Albion, but she was released.
I don't want that one.
Anything since then?
No, that was her.
I want...
What about young associates? Maybe you could hang out.
Go the other way.
No associates listed, but I do have Susan Watson's address.
There we go.
Detective Becker.
Whenever I start a new ship, I always start with one landing gear, and then I add blocks.
Remember the last time you saw Susan or talked to her? Maybe a few months ago?
I don't need all these blocks for this, but I'm not here anyway. Okay. And I always use light armor blocks because it's just easier to work with. And what I do... Oh, that's purple. I don't want that color. Let's make this ship... Oh, what color do I make this ship? Let's make it red. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to make a whole bunch of these blocks so that I have a frame. I do this with small ships, I do this with large ships.
What else can you tell me about this new job? Who did she work for? She didn't tell me. She's actually kind of secretive.
If this was a small ship, after doing that, I'd take a cockpit and then place the cockpit somewhere towards the front, up here somewhere, so that I would have a frame of reference. But since it's a large ship, I can't do that. So instead, what I'm going to do is on this line, I'm going to place a few things. First, I'm going to place a reactor. Okay? Place a reactor here. I'm using a large reactor because this is going to be a mining ship. I only want to really need to deal with one. Next, I need to figure out how I'm going to put in my mining tools. Since this is the front of my ship, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the mining tools. So I'm going to pull up my miner, and we're going to place one, and we're going to look at it. This tells us what it looks like. So, large mining tool has ports, large ports, on all 6 sides, all 5 sides. That net looks really cool. That is really cool. Okay, so I have my reactor. So the last thing we need to do is check power and air. We're good on that. So we know what that looks like now. In this case, we're going to take it back out because I don't want that there. But we need a large container. So when you set up a ship, you have to have a few things. You have to have... Where's my large container? Large container. Large container. I don't have a large container? Okay, that's fine.
Let me contact the director.
We need a large container. So go over here to cargo and convoys. Find the large container. And we're going to put that actually right next to the reactor. Whoa! There we go. Now if you noticed, I put the conveyor tubes on one another. Okay? So I put those two together. What that allows me to do is, I need some uranium. Hold on, let me grab some uranium real quick. Power. Grab some uranium. Here we go. And I only need one for the moment.
She's back. Though the director at News Horizons claimed that Dr. Newman never met Susan once.
Well, you know, Susan is dead, and Kelly Newman is a major
So.
donor of News Horizons.
Yeah, I can't be a coincidence.
What are we gonna do?
Just stay close to the house. I'll be in touch.
Yeah, that was the legend of a tune.
I'm going to put this in here.
I will be finished 2 minutes early.
See this large hard container? If I actually right click and drag,
As it did with Dan Hodges and Dan Los Angeles, but no actual proof.
I can now transfer between them.
I don't have any evidence.
So I'm going to shut this off now. I don't need it on.
Jerry Tyson is still alive.
Large reactor offline.
Even is the serial killer in her own right. She's a shrewd and high-functioning sociopath.
So that's because they were connected. If I actually take this block and put it here, see how there's a gap now?
Sir, he knows the Neiman case.
See how there's a gap there? So if I take this reactor, I can no longer, see how it's grayed out? I can no longer do that. But if I, here it is, add one of these,
She has a surgical clinic in Costa Rica, but she also began seeing patients.
so now I have a tube between them.
A month ago through a cosmetic surgery group.
Where?
Now,
Simon's Hospital.
I turn the reactor back on. See how I can transfer back and forth again? Does that make sense? See now I can transfer this over, and it pops over here and then comes back. That's because I have a conveyor tube between these two.
She treated Jerry Tyson. She's gonna be Tyson's girlfriend.
I can do the same thing with the motors. So if I take
You got this all figured out.
my drills, wherever my drills are, here it is, number 4, and I take my drill and put it right here, and I just put a whole bunch of them here, because this is going to be one heck of a digger. Come to think of it, I'm going to need a second container. Because this thing's going to be very massive.
Like the song said. Kate Beckett. She loved my features. What skilled hands could be with you? I'm not interested in the competition.
Alright.
Neither am I. You do know you.
So now we have,
That's damaged my practice, my reputation.
let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide, and 1, 2, 3, 4 high.
She was a client.
Well, I want this 7 wide.
Did you never met her there? I do make some start crisis detective, but it's not where I spend my time. I don't know.
Like so,
Does this refresh your memory?
as well as 5 high. So I'm going to go grab me a piece of ore,
She also had cosmetic surgery performed by you. I never forget a face, especially if I got it.
just because I can. I'm sure I've got some material here somewhere. Here, you can add a little bit of ice. Let's just grab like 5 ice.
I'll be back. A parting gift?
Now,
Facial rejuvenation kit.
I'm going to put the 5 ice
No. Thank you.
inside one of these drills. So we know it's in that drill, right? This container
Somebody.
cannot access that. So if I come down to my drill number 17, I can't pull out the ice because I'm not connected. But we add in a second.
Get right on it, but you're talking about weeks of footage. That's even if St. Simon's has had it. But I got some good news for you.
Large there.
Sign off on Castle working his case with us. You'll be ready to jump in by the time you get back.
Now it's connected to the array.
You really think
I can come down here.
She's got ice water in her veins.
Yes. So here's the thing. Let me find drill 17. Oh, drill 17 is empty. So if I take my container,
the hospital won't share security footage without a court order.
where's my container? There it is. I can take this and drag it to drill 18. I can drag it to drill 17, and so on. Because the conveyor system allows me to move things around, but it will automatically move it to something else if it has somewhere to go. It will also balance the load between them. So if you have all your cargo containers full, it'll balance the load to the other drills. Now this is a problem because I have exactly one connection coming into these. So to solve that problem, I'm going to actually take and use the conveyor system. So I'm going to take number 6, which is the large conveyor boxes, put them like so, and like so. Then I'm going to use the straight tubes to connect them.
And where's this vehicle? We find the trunk, we find the woman along with the man she took a ride with. That man is...
Oops, I got the wrong one.
Also
7.
known as 3XK. And I'm sure that no one here is more familiar with him than...
By doing this, it gives me 2 benefits. First, oops, that's not where I want that to go. First, by doing this, I have multiple paths. So now there's 3 ways I can get there. If one of these tubes is damaged, the ore can still move around, which is the most important part. You want the ore to keep moving. You don't want it to stop. This is most important when you're dealing with a combat ship, because you don't want to have only one path for your ammo to go around. So it's not that complicated. And that's a basic mining setup. 1 to 2 containers minimum. I like 2 to 3. 1 power supply minimum. If you're dealing with, I'm actually going to add a second power supply. But if you're dealing with larger ships, where you're dealing with a lot of drills and a lot of engines, use at least the large power supply. If you're dealing with like a cargo transport or something like that, you can go with smaller power supplies, and you can make that a little easier. The other advantage to smaller ones is that they're not in a combat ship. If they get destroyed, you have less problems, because if you lose 1 reactor, it's not a big deal. If you lose, because you have to lose all your reactors for it to be completely disabled. So that's why you use multiple reactors instead of 1, aside from just needing more power. Now where did that reactor go? Because I need another one. There it is, number 9. In this case, I'm going to rotate this one this way. Not that way. That way. See what I did here? This one's got the conveyor on the top. This one's got the conveyors on the side. So to keep our concept here, I'm going to take, where's my fuel? Energy's good, fuel's good, oxygen's good. I'm going to take this and put another 6 here and connect it.
especially if the patient's life is
Now,
She took a run.
if that center reactor is ever lost,
Tyson's dead. Therefore, that can't be him. Really?
for whatever reason,
And where do we find him? I couldn't say.
oops, that was good.
I know why you're here. To see what we have.
That second reactor will still get power.
What you have is.
See why I did that?
I think it's wrong. If you're innocent, then
So that allows everything to keep flowing, even if the main line is broken anywhere along it. This is most important in small ships, not so important in large ships.
we will be granted a court order for the patient's name.
So since this is a large ship,
An hour in your hospital.
it needs a few more things in order for it to go.
Your choice.
We need to add
Her name is Annie.
2 more pieces of importance.
Go.
The first is it needs a refinery. Needs one of these.
She wants surgery.
And I'm thinking I might just add 2 of them.
And it's just an amazing coincidence. She ended up looking exactly like Susan Watts.
So I'm going to move this around.
And yet they look identical.
There we go.
Whatever you're up to. Whatever.
And I'll show you a
Is that
trick to the refineries that's important. Oh, I need some blocks. I need some blocks.
I have a surgery schedule.
Contact info at
We're gonna
Carolina's office.
do this.
Amy moved out of her place 2 months ago, still trying to figure out where. Just like Susan Watts. It's not yet.
There.
Amy Barrett grew up in Arizona. Finally at 16, she drifted
Okay.
around multiple arrests.
Do you have any connection to New Start Horizons?
Not that I can tell.
Oh, come on. You're going to be a pest, aren't you?
He was creating his victims. For Jerry Tyson, they're like clones.
All right, now.
They're
5,
blonde and pretty, just like Tyson.
6,
Even
6,
fighting
4.
lost
Okay.
souls that no one is going to miss. And she remakes
Now.
them. She grooms them for 3XK.
This refinery
So, we got
is now standing on top of a reactor. It has no connection to anybody under the sun, which is bad.
Yeah, 4 blocks from Mrs. Watts.
So we need to connect it. What we're going to do is we're going to add in
He may be Tyson's accomplice.
a number 6 here, a number 7 coming from here. We're going to add another number 6 here, and we're going to add a number 8
Turn around.
to connect to that angle.
Jerry Tyson, you are under arrest.
And I think I'm going to add another 6 here with a number 8 on this side.
To be in that box with Jerry Tyson. The rest of it, he's going away. You do with that.
And number
Take
7
it down against
underneath.
him.
So now the ore can go into the refinery or into
Find any sign of Amy Barrett.
the cargo containers. But to make this safe,
Checking bedding and pillows to see if it matches that feather. That link.
see how that sits really high?
But what's the story on Michael Boudreaux?
Based on his pay stubs and some other stuff. Came by over 6 months ago.
Green yellow boxes have.
Well, where is he now?
Yes,
We also.
yes. The little gray panels have to be connected from this little gray panel
Check it out.
to this little gray panel on another device
Get the photo.
in order to make it all work.
Even Barrett.
These on top,
Question is where's she now? What did Tyson do?
there's a couple of options for those. They're a little different, so we're going to have to look at them individually. Turn around. There it is. See how there's
Well, we don't have.
those little squares on both of them? Make those match, and they'll connect. Now this one is a productivity module. This can be attached to either a refiner or a assembler, and it'll reduce time.
We figured out how we went across paths. Before she came.
So we want to put one of these on here.
Substance abuse and nonprofit
The second one is the effectiveness module.
organization and dozens of others just like it across the country.
This one produces yield. The last one is a power efficiency module, and this one reduces the amount of power that it needs. These I had to actually look up to know what each did.
We're gonna bring him down. You do too.
Because you sometimes you want time, sometimes you want quantity. However, if you look at over, so in this case, I don't want that. I want care about power, but I care about that and that. So
First time, you don't
2 faster, 2 more productive. In this case, in some cases, I'll just use all productivity ones, so that actually produces a higher yield across the board. However, I also want to add in 2 arc refineries. Arcs. Is that an arc? That's an arc. Arcs only do ferrous metals.
What was Amy doing at the apartment?
If you notice, it's got
Girlfriend?
an adapter there. And that's the only place you see adapters. It's because it's only good on that side. So I can't connect it this way and have it work. But I can put them in different places and make them work. So I'm going to put one, I think we're going to put one there, and I'll put one on the other side.
Jerry Tyson.
Do that there. And just because this is a capital ship that we're cramming a whole bunch of stuff into, I'm also going to add in a couple of assemblers.
So why did you explain that?
And I'll put those behind the arc reactors.
They'll see a teeny scar here. You got cosmetic surgery to look like a serial killer. I never liked how I looked, and so I met this great surgeon, and she's
There.
made a face.
So now
The thing is, I've never felt
I have,
like myself since I started feeling again.
okay, the arc reactor can only do iron, cobalt, nickel.
Yes, man, she is the best. She did a little touch, honey.
I think there's one more.
How are you gonna prove that you are?
I know it can do those 3. Which, if you're mining a big asteroid and you're doing a lot of mining, that saves you a lot of headaches, because you don't have to deal with those going into your main refinery, which can handle your stones and your precious metals. So, we have now
When you read the prince whose name came up,
everything we need to make the ship operational, except for a couple of things. This is not a ship yet. Right now it's just a refinery and factory. So to make this work as a ship, we have to add a few more things. We need to add in a minimum of the following.
Who said they were keeping his client under false pretenses? Said the licer and
We have to have a gyroscope, but since this is a large ship, we're going to add in 2.
As far as the DA is concerned, Tyson died when he went off the bridge.
Stick one in here if we can. Oh, come on. Where can we stick this little bugger? There. And there. So now we have 3 gyroscopes, which is more than enough for a basic system. We're going to add a 4th one just to be safe. And finally, the last thing we need
Check the GPS.
is thrusters.
And pull over my records when you finally get doing something.
It doesn't matter the size. It can be small, large, whatever.
Gates is trying to-
Thrusters you must have a minimum of 6. Right, up, left, down,
Tyson is actually dead, and Kelly even cut Boudreaux to look like Tyson. No, this guy is Jerry Tyson.
backward, and forward.
I'm a Castle. I don't think that man is Michael Boudreaux. Once we had each Boudreaux and Amy Barrett,
Right
we
there.
started monitoring their credit card activity. Boudreaux's card was just used to make.
By having an engine go in all 6 directions, technically it can fly. So if I add in a cockpit somewhere, we'll say we'll use this right here as a nice little platform for it. Where's the cockpit? There it is, number 9. Like so. I can come down here. I can jump on the cockpit. And I can look around. Like so. I will disengage. I'm going to save. Hold on. Just in case this goes completely chaotic. I can disengage the lock. See now it's yellow. And I can lift. And I just lift it off. It's not rotating. It's not spinning. It means I got the minimum number of engines to make this thing work. I'm going to put this thing back on the pad.
Like I said, I don't know who this Susan wants it.
And lock it. I'm also going to shut it off because I don't need it all running. And ta-da! That is how conveyors work, and that is the basics of setting up a ship. Just remember the number of thrusters should always match in equal directions. So if you have 4 thrusters going backwards, you should have 4 thrusters going forwards. That way you have equal acceleration and deceleration whenever you're flying.
Sorry, Brian, I got caught in traffic. Boudreaux's probably long gone by now.
Not necessarily. He ordered a Cobb salad at Cafe Julius, so he may be in there eating.
Okay, I'll check.
Smaller ships are really easy. Like I said, building a small ship's really easy.
Hey, Barrett. Wait, I need to talk to you. Who are you? I'm Detective Beckett.
As an example, this has got a bunch of engines on it.
Yeah, my slider told me to show up.
It's just got a couple of small parts on it.
His credit card, Mike gave me permission. The man that you know as Michael Boudreaux is Jerry.
There's a reactor right there. There's the cockpit, a medium container, a connector, a whole bunch of thrusters.
Okay.
I got it. I know how we can nail Tyson McKee as his mother.
The gyroscope's buried back there somewhere
But his mother signed the papers
in the middle.
foster care. We compare her DNA to his. We can prove he's Jerry Tyson.
And she's still alive?
Now living in White Buildings. Her name is Gretchen Cutler.
Gretchen Cutler?
So is that helpful?
Detective Beckett.
Nice little walkthrough on building a ship.
I don't have a son.
So we're talking about Jerry Tyson.
I know what you're talking about. He hasn't lived here since he was 9.
When he was put to foster care.
I was a good mother. Nothing I ever did could have made him what he was. The stuff they said was not true.
They actually do believe that he was unjustly accused of several crimes.
Yeah, and we are just looking to clear his name.
So now I'm just...
It's a little late for that now.
It might help for Casey knowing that some of what was said about Jerry is untrue.
All we would need is a sample of your DNA.
And I want to be no good. Jerry wasn't my blood.
You're listed as his mother.
Not by choice. He was just it. He was a boyfriend at the time. Jeff took off and he never came back.
There we go.
What was I gonna do? I tried to make this a happy home for Jerry. I looked after him as well.
So the other thing I have to do now is basically box it in.
You were born that way. Nothing I ever did could have made him what he was.
Box it in, put some real thrusters on it,
Yeah, both of them.
Do you still have any of his things? Like a toothbrush?
and then put a real cockpit in,
By years ago, and he made me hand over everything.
as well as access doors and so on. Oh, if you're doing a large ship, and especially if whether you're doing mining or not, you should always have an oxygen generator.
It's not as embarrassing.
You only need one.
Only people who keep insisting they're not terrible parents are terrible parents.
But I'm going to add in
It's all just toys.
one oxygen generator, and I'm going to add in an oxygen tank if I have it on here.
Dead animals, shrunken heads?
No.
Castle.
There we go, oxygen tank. No, that's a beacon. I want an oxygen tank.
We got him.
So I want an oxygen tank.
Expediting DNA test from the tube. They'll call you as soon as they have the prelim results. Then what are they
And I'm not going to use...
saliva from a beer that Tyson was drinking when we busted
There.
him at the apartment. Then Tyson has
So,
no idea.
I have 2 oxygen tanks and
Excellent.
2 oxygen generators.
So rarely on the DNA.
And when I box it in,
Tyson's lying until the results came in. And I'll let you know.
I can do something like this.
Dr. Neiman. Detective
I can add in an exterior hatch door.
What are you doing here? Waiting for Mike to Joe. Interesting.
Oh, you little bugger, wrong way.
He's a patient.
Hit the wrong door.
You really go the extra mile. I'll sit until Mike is released. Not as soon as you were hoping.
Drop. I hit the wrong button. And you'll hear in a minute, you'll hear venting.
Kelly Neiman is here. She's waiting for him to be released.
Hear that venting?
Profound disappointment.
That's the air vent pumping oxygen back in here.
I remember back at the motel when I saw him turn.
If I actually used that turnstile correctly, it would never have vented the room.
It all came to me a second too late.
Venting is good.
I've relived that moment so many times.
And now,
My mistake set him free and cost people lives.
I can take my helmet off.
People.
Oh, I
I
lagged.
had a chance to help put the genie back in the bottle, which is a terrible metaphor because
So now I can take my helmet
there
off.
is no genie.
And I'm breathing just fine. Not using my oxygen tank or nothing.
Beckett. Hey, it's Amy. Amy.
So that cockpit will be like this
Are
one.
you okay?
It'll have an air vent,
I saw her. I saw her on the news. Who?
so I can use
The girl
that oxygen instead of
that looked like me.
mine.
Susan Watts? Amy, did you know her? Do you know anything about her?
So I put my helmet back on,
Because you think he could have. Amy, did he ever say
and I can
anything about
open
her?
this
Did you ever
door.
know her name? No. But I saw them together. When? 3 weeks ago.
Close the door,
Mike was driving the truck. She was with him.
open the
I
door.
thought he was cheating on me, but no.
Not that
I'm
door,
afraid. You have every reason to be.
that door.
But Amy, I can protect you. Where are you now?
And see how the room did not depressurize that time? You didn't hear the venting, I didn't get blown out.
I'm with you.
No, Kessel. I don't want to scare her off.
But you can only do it in a pressurized environment. So if you're on a planet with a breathable atmosphere, or you're in a pressurized compartment, you can take your helmet off. But it's got to be at least one or the other.
Man, she's got some grass doesn't she? Showing up here.
So this just needs to be boxed in, and we're good.
So,
Boxed in and engines. That's it. That's all it needs. And I have one very large digger,
they can't pull me from that tooth. You've been pulled in.
which will be fun. I'll finish this tomorrow. My Big Red Digger.
Killing me.
Oh, it needs an antenna. There's a couple things that I always add onto ships, which aren't really necessary, but it's good to have. First, I need ore detectors, because this is a mining ship. So I'm going to add an ore detector here. I like having ore detectors going all 6 ways when I can. There.
You walked away. You did that again.
I want to put one facing backwards.
How's yourself there? I saw your childhood home.
And this one here, we're going to rotate this way.
I'm not familiar with that name. You know what she said? She said nothing she ever did
Up.
turned you into what you are.
And I need one more going down.
But I get the feeling. That is, I get the feeling. She's the first person you ever wanted to kill.
Yeah, we'll turn it over here.
That would be too obvious.
There. So now I have 6 ore detectors going each direction.
Hunt.
So all around the ship I'll be able to see.
Like Gretchen once did. That way.
That's so.
See their faces.
Any more doors? No, you do. You have to press the keypads in order to open the doors.
Because of her.
The other thing I always add is a remote control. That'll allow me to autopilot my ship. So I can say, hey, just go to a waypoint that I already have. If I want to send it home, I just have to do that, and I can send it home. And it will take itself to wherever I want it to go. And the last thing it needs is an antenna, which, as you can see, is quite large on this ship. So I don't know where I'm going to put it yet. I need to find somewhere to stuff it. I want it under the deck because I don't want to lose it. Ooh. We'll put it there. And then what we'll do is on top of that, we'll actually build the deck and the bridge. So I would normally do something like this. And then here's the deck we're going to use. We're going to take out that control station. And we're going to put it up here. Don't do that. I don't want that. Okay, there we go. I don't want that. I want the wrong key. I want number 9.
How is it possible? DNA from the tube.
Right there.
It's him. We know it's him.
And there. So now the ship has 2 control consoles. So the only thing it's short now is to finish the box, the engines, which I won't put on. That's going to take too long. And then putting some glass across the front so you can actually see where you're going. And that is a basic ship. Very compact, very large digger. Does that all make sense? And what I'll do is I'll take and do an excerpt of this when I get offline tonight, so don't forget, and I'll post it.
Yes.
So you can look at it later. Alright? I do like function over form for stuff like this. If I'm doing a battleship, I'm going to do a lot of fighting, then I'll actually go for form, because you want to have things placed in just such a way. Like, my battleship is, I think, in the hangar. Yeah, it is. I actually finished the plating on it as well today. So this ship, if we look at it, this is the one I used to take the battle station.
Oh my god, that's cherry tasting.
Two Gatling guns, 2 automatic Gatling guns, a whole bunch of engines, a whole bunch of armor. But if you actually look at it, it's a little more intimidating because it's got 2 turrets, it's got a couple landing gears, but it's got 2 gyroscopes,
Don't move, I'll be there, okay?
it's got 3 landing gears so I can land comfortably on any surface. It has 1 large reactor. It does not have redundant power though, it doesn't have any small reactors. So this has no redundancy for power. Main power's gone, it's gone. Tons of engines, tons of armor, and it's got a remote control and an antenna somewhere. This one here, this is the antenna. So this has like no redundancy for power, only engines, and the dual guns. However, if I go to my mining ship, oh, which is still docked down here. Still on the hard dock. Right on the mining ship, you'll notice it has, hold on, let's make that so it's easier. So it's got multiple drills, multiple injectors, but it also has 2 medium cargo containers, my 6 ore detectors, a remote control, the sorters, which don't matter, and it's got that for reactor power.
I don't know. I've been in police custody until an hour ago, giving you the perfect alibi.
So this one's designed to be able to take meteor impacts. It's designed to be able to take on, if it gets shot by pirates, it can get away because it's got lots of thrust, but it's also got lots of reactors, so it can keep moving. The only thing it doesn't have is armor plating. You can see I just have a whole bunch of iron. All the equipment on this one is just kind of tacked on. There's no form, function, nothing. You can even see the remains of the old cargo container on the strap to the back, and I've just built off of that.
We can't do anything, we don't have anything.
I'm going to go ahead and actually pull this thing off the bay before I go to bed.
You won't be able to make a move without us knowing.
I'm actually going to move this somewhere that's easier to find.
Look all you want, Detective Esposito. She's not here, and I have no idea where she is.
What about your client?
Go ahead and pull this up. Put it on the platform because I got to do some more work on it.
Yeah, but you can't.
It needs more engines to handle the weight.
You seem to think that's something that I'm not. And how could I be involved? I was with you at the time.
Okay.
I got a unit on Boudreaux's place and all of our standby.
Espo, put units
It's locked.
in as well.